Hey everyone, it is Dr. Hodges. I am going for a walk today, and I will tell you, I have started this video like 5 times. I guess everybody is out and about because it's so pretty outside. Oh my goodness, there's dogs barking, there are cars going by, so I'm hoping I don't have to restart again. We're just gonna go for it. So today I want to talk about the latest and greatest in medical weight loss options for our patients. There are new medicines that are coming out, but I think it would be really helpful to talk about where we've been so we can figure out where we're going to go. Let's get into it. There we go. All right. So what is the OG? That would be phentermine. Phentermine is kind of a cousin to the amphetamine family. It is a controlled substance, and generally patients are going to lose about 10 pounds for every 100 pounds that they're overweight. That is what it means when you see all these commercials and they say, you're going to lose 20%, you're going to lose 10%. Usually means for every 100 pounds that you're overweight, that's about how much weight you're going to lose, 10 pounds. If you do not weigh or have 100 excess pounds, you will lose less than that number. Okay, so if you have 80 pounds that you need to lose and you're going to lose 10% of that, it's going to be closer to 8 pounds. Okay, so that's kind of how you'll move the notch. But just to keep the math easy, we're just going to be talking in terms of 100-pound weight excess. Okay, so side effects with phentermine: dry mouth, you might feel jittery, your heart may race. It's OG. It is a generic, probably going to cost $10, $20. If your insurance doesn't cover it, guess what? It's a generic. Cough up your $20. I promise you, the nails that you just got done are going to cost more than 1 month of phentermine. So get on after it. The next medicine that is on the market is Ozempic. Ozempic is another OG medication that has clearly exploded over the last couple of years. Now, with Ozempic, it is a GLP-1. It's an injection that you do once a week. 1 second. I cannot find a good angle because it's so sunny. Okay, so GLP-1. What it does is it will affect one of the receptors in your small bowel, and it basically tells the pancreas to make more insulin when your glucose gets up really, really high. But it doesn't work like insulin where as soon as you take it, it immediately drops your glucose. What it does is it's only if there's a certain threshold that is met will it really kick into overtime. The other side effect that GLP-1 activation has is appetite suppression. The thing is that over time, your body will develop tolerance to that medication, and that is why over time, you have to gradually increase the dose. It's not that there's something wrong with you or something wrong with the medicine. It's just that your body is getting more efficient and is responding now differently to that medication. Okay, so they then realized that they needed to get that medication through the FDA for weight loss, and so Ozempic is now branded as Wegovy. The generic name for both of those is semaglutide, but currently semaglutide is not on the market just as a standalone. Typically, if you're going to get semaglutide, it's going to be in a compounded form. Okay? Now, there is an Ozempic is made by Novo Nordisk. What are the key side effects with, the GLP-1? With GLP-1s, you can get reflux, bloating, you'll get gut slowing, you can get constipation, you can get nausea, headaches. Those are some of the common. It's really going to be more GI side effects with a GLP-1. Now, Eli Lilly, they came out with a competitor for the GLP-1. Their injectable that you take once a week affects 2 different receptors in the gut, GLP-1 and GIP. And it's really just a double duty for how these medicines work. Very similar to the medication by Novo Nordisk. I'm going to cross the street. And with this one, you take it once a week. Same side effects: nausea, constipation, reflux. I will tell you, whenever I have taken that medicine, I also get arthralgia, which just means arthritis. So I've actually taken it compounded, and I prefer it compounded. Sorry, Eli Lilly. But anyway, with GLP-1s and with GLP/GIP, so with Wegovy, Zepbound, and maybe I should say this, the competitor to Ozempic is Mounjaro, and Mounjaro was rebranded as Zepbound, and the generic name for that is tirzepatide. So that whole group of injectables that you take once a week, generally patients are losing about 20 to maybe 30%, but that is the stated rate from all the studies that were done when the medications were brought before the FDA. What we are actually seeing in our private practice, in real world situations, that patients are actually losing less. It's generally more in the order between 15 to upwards of 20%. So that means for every 100 pounds that you're overweight, probably going to lose 15, maybe 20 pounds. I know that those numbers sound drastically different than what everybody's talking about whenever you're on TikTok or on YouTube, but I'm telling you, I've been doing this since 2011, okay? And as a general rule of thumb that I have, if you are doing medical weight loss, number one, you take the medicine to suppress your appetite, and that allows you to stay in a calorie deficit so you can lose weight. You can take every medicine under the sun, and it is quite bright today, that sun. You can take every medicine under the sun, but if you're not doing the things that you need to do, you will not lose weight. And so that's probably why when they've looked at patients that are undergoing medical weight loss programs, the majority of people that are doing medical weight loss, they stop taking the medicines after a year. That's number one. And then number two, over a 2-year period, this is just in the general population, this is not in the studies that were presented to the FDA for the efficacy of these medicines, only 2% of patients have good long-term results. And I'll get a little bit more into that. So these are the injectables for medical weight loss. So what is new on the market? What is new on the market is a pill. It is no longer an injectable. So instead of taking an injection once a week, you can now take these pills once a day. I don't know the exact release date for these pills, but they are GLP-1 only. I believe with the Novo Nordisk version, you have to take it on an empty stomach and you wait for 30 minutes. With the Eli Lilly version that will be coming out, I don't think that you'll have that waiting period. With these different medications, you're going to have some of the same side effects or potential side effects that you get when you're taking the injectables. So with the injectables and with the pills, it's really going to be, you're at risk for more GI side effects. Reflux, bloating, constipation, possible headache. Those are going to be the possible side effects. So what is the efficacy? I was just looking up and I saw that for both of these medicines, patients can lose up to 12 to 15% of their excess body weight. That's going to be the study outcomes. So I suspect in real life, I bet the weight loss that you're going to get with these is going to be similar, honestly, to phentermine. I know whenever my surgery partner, when we first started doing medical weight loss, this was years ago, he would sometimes give Rybelsus to his patients. And honestly, between he and I did not really see any big difference in my patients' outcomes when one person took Rybelsus and one person took phentermine. One other thing that I want you guys to know is that, remember, when you're taking these GLP-1s, it is working on pathways that can be affected by diabetes. If you are diabetic, I will tell you in my practice, Generally, when you are on a GLP-1, you will not have the exact same appetite suppression as somebody that does not have diabetes. And so generally these patients will need much, much higher doses of these medications. I do think whenever I was speaking with the rep that came in to talk about the weight loss pill, the new one, and I keep on saying weight loss pill because honestly I can't remember what the name is, but it's the newest. I think Wegovy is just going to be Wegovy in the pill form. I don't know if Eli Lilly with theirs that comes out, I don't know what their name, what that launch name is going to be, but it's basically going to be Zepbound in pill form. So where does this leave us? We have the OG weight loss medicine of phentermine, probably going to lose about 10 to 15 pounds. Take it every day. Then we have our newer injectables, and you're going to lose probably double the weight loss. And now what's coming on the horizon are the weight loss pills, which is really just the injectable in pill form, which I'm sure a lot of people are like, I don't want to give myself a shot, so let me try this pill. This is what I honestly think we're going to start seeing in outcomes. I really think that when you are comparing the 3 different meds, you're going to have superior weight loss with the injectable simply because it is an extended release form. And it really goes back to how are you going to be successful when you're doing medical weight loss? The very first thing you need to have is good appetite suppression. When you have an extended release, it is going to work 24/7, 7 days a week, and then you give yourself another shot. And when you're taking a daily medicine, what you're going to see is like a bell curve where you take the medicine and then as the day wears on, the efficacy of the drug is going to wear off. And unfortunately, whenever people need more help, it's usually in the evening, and that's right when the medicine is beginning to wear off. And that is why I really think that patients do better with an injectable over a pill that they take every day, simply because the medicine is in their system longer. So it just sets them up for success. So that's number 1. Number 2, I cannot stress enough how important it is that you are adding in a low-calorie diet, and if you can, also exercise. The disclaimer that you will always see on every one of these commercials and in the studies is that in every one of these groups that were presented to the FDA, every one of these patients were on a monitored diet and exercise program. Well, if you look at any study that is out there for weight loss, guess what? The people that did the best are the people that were on a monitored weight loss program. There were people that were on a monitored diet, they were sticking to that diet, and they were exercising. The medicine was just an adjunct, so it made it a lot easier to do the things that you need to do. So that is going to be my final point. If you want to be a success, it is really important that you're doing everything that you can. Taking any one of the medicines, even if it's that brand new pill, and I guarantee you, they are going to be people on TikTok and they're going to say, oh, it's the best thing, it's so much better than having to give yourself a shot, and blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, people are going to be out there saying it, but when we check back with them in 2 years, let's see what the scale says. I really want you guys to be a success in whatever way that you can, in whichever pathway that you're choosing, whether it's medical weight loss or surgical weight loss. I think the most important thing that your take home from this is number 1, you gotta stick with the plan, okay? You gotta, number 1, and I've said this before, we need to know your BMR, that's your basal metabolic rate. Once you do that, you need to be in a 500 calorie deficit. When you're in a 500 calorie deficit, you will get hungry. Ching, ching, ching. This is where your medicines come in play. If it were me, and it is me, I think an injectable is going to be the way. That's going to give you the most sustained appetite suppression, and that will give you the best long-term results. My final thought is this too. People will always ask me, am I going to have to stay on this medicine forever? Well, let's think about this. Are you going to do the things you need to do? Because if you're not going to do the things that you need to do to maintain that lower weight, then yeah, you're probably going to need to do at least something to maintain that weight loss. Typically, for you to maintain, you bring your calories back up to your basal metabolic rate. So for me, my basal metabolic rate is right around 1,080. It stinks. It stinks. So for me, that means if I want to lose weight, I need to be 500 calories below that. And I would never tell anybody to only do like 600 calories in a day. I would never tell anybody to do that. So I usually keep my calories at about 1,000. And then if I'm in a weight loss journey, I just gotta make sure I'm pumping up the exercise, because for me, because my metabolic rate is low, and right now I'm being honest, I haven't really done any strength training to increase my lean muscle. I haven't done HIIT training. I haven't done these different things that have been clinically shown to increase your metabolic rate. Because of that, I usually rely on walking. And so I can get more of a calorie burn. So what about for you? What are you gonna do? Once you have lost your weight, generally, and this is for the general population, your basal metabolic rate is going to come down because your body simply doesn't need as many calories on any given day to do the things that it needs to do. So what your BMR as at the beginning, it may end up being a little bit lower once you've lost 30, 40, 50 pounds. And so I encourage you, once you get to your new weight loss goal, recalculate your basal metabolic rate, your BMR, to make sure that the maintenance calories that you need to be maintaining every day, that's where you are. And then if you fluctuate 200 or 300 up or down, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna maintain your weight. But how do you end up gaining back all of that weight? Well, if you're consistently over 500 calories, that basal metabolic rate. So do you have to take medicine once you've lost all your weight? No, you don't have to. But if you are going to not exercise consistently, if you are going to go back to old habits and take in high calorie foods, if you're going to graze throughout the day, if you're going to really fall off the wagon, then yeah, you probably need to find something that's going to help you supplement your appetite or those cravings. You might need to do some stress relief. I'm going to have some other videos on what are non-medical and non-surgical ways for you to maintain your weight, like what are different things that you can do, because what are contributing factors. But it's really important that you kind of know both sides. There's number one, is getting the weight off, but more importantly, it's keeping that weight off. So it may mean that you always need to do something. And when I say do something, I mean you may always need to take some form of medication to help you with your appetite, okay? That's not everybody. And we don't even have a lot of good studies out there. It's kind of like one of these things that people just whisper and people wonder. But if we already know as practitioners that the recidivism rate, meaning the risk for weight regain when you do medical weight loss alone, is 98%, then that means that we as a health profession, we need to do better by our patients to really give them all the tools that are available so they can keep that weight off. So just some food for thought, okay? Hope that this helped.